How to put the valve cover gaskets, all the camshaft seals in the front and in the rear of both cylinders, plus both camshaft chain tensioner gaskets, and the camshaft caps or plugs that go in the rear of each cylinder on this 2000 Audi A6 with a 2.7 liter bi-turbo engine. But the procedures in this video will be very similar for the 2.8 liter naturally aspirated engine as well. All right, first things first, we'll remove these engine covers. These are held in by plastic screws. And we got two on each side. So we'll need to remove this Y pipe. So we'll start by loosening these clamps at each end. Next, we'll need to remove this air intake box with this tube. So remove all the connectors that go to the different sensors here, and also your MAF sensor connector, and push them out the way. Next, we'll disconnect this plastic tube that goes into our Y pipe. Be very careful with these because these get old and brittle and they're very easy to break. All right, next, in order to remove this Y pipe, we have three 10mm bolts that we're going to remove. We should be able to twist these and remove it. All right, next, we're going to remove our coolant reservoir. So we'll disconnect these hoses. All right, there we go. And there are three Phillips head screws. And at last, there's a coolant level sensor connector underneath, and here it comes. Next, we're going to remove our engine covers, or actually rather our cylinder head covers. So first we'll remove our oil cap, and then we'll undo these two plastic screws again that are holding these in, and take these off. Same thing on this side. All right, next we need to get these out of the way. So we're actually going to loosen these clamps for these, push these up here, hold them up there. Then there's one 10mm bolt that I can see right now that looks to be holding these in. So here's this one, we'll set it up top. Oh, this looks to be in a housing that you can just pull them out of. All right, not going by the manual as you can tell. Alrighty, same thing on this side. Yank this out. Now, before we go any further, I think you guys can tell by now that the quality of this video is not my usual quality of a video that you see on this channel, and that's simply because I don't have the time right now to spend shooting this video bolt by bolt and then editing it. That simply takes days, to be honest, and I don't have the time, that kind of time to spend right now. So we're just gonna simply rush through this today. And not to mention, there's very little monetary return on these types of videos, but anyway, I'm still gonna do them. All right, next we'll remove our coils, and each coil looks to be held in by two 10mm bolts. In order to remove these from their connectors, you just push up on this metal clamp and then remove it. So after doing the same thing on the passenger side, we come over and I'm gonna remove our valve cover. This is held in by, I think, 4 nuts up top, 2 in the middle, and then 3 on the bottom. And again, these are 10mm. The ones on the bottom are going to be somewhat tricky to get, but with the right extensions, you should have no problem. There's another PCV hose up here that we need to remove, hopefully without breaking it. Work with me here. Yes. Oh yeah, we need to remove this coolant line as well. There we go. All right, so here's a close look at our driver's side valve cover gasket. It's actually in really good shape. This is a fairly recent job, but I'm pretty sure they only replaced the gasket, and it looks like they used gray RTB silicone. But more importantly, they did not replace these chain tensioning gaskets. And that's what's leaking on this car, and that's why we are here. So we're gonna remove this. They did use RTB in the right places. It's just not the right RTB. Unless this is some type of a factory RTB, but I doubt it. Alrighty, so same thing on this side. First, we'll remove this coolant hose. No. Did you guys see that? Drop the socket right in here. Let this be a lesson to you kids. An ounce of prevention. I don't know the rest of that saying, but you know, you want to cover up that pipe. All right, now on this side, in order to get to one of these nuts for a valve cover, we need to remove this bracket, which is held in, again, by another 10mm bolt. This guy right here. And then all the nuts. And another PCV hose up here, which promises to cooperate with us. Yeah. And here comes this side. And more or less the same thing on this side. So we'll remove our valve cover. And as you can see on the passenger side, the camshaft chain tensioner is on the rear, whereas the camshaft sensor is on the front, but it's the reverse on the driver's side. All right, so we'll start off by doing the driver's side. So here's a look at our camshaft sensor that's in the back. It's got two 10mm bolts that are holding it in, so we're gonna remove those next. All right, so here's one. There's number two. Now I remember, we gotta remove this, this coolant hose completely. Long needle nose pliers to the rescue. There we go. And here's the camshaft position sensor, and I'm just gonna set this aside for now like this. Next, it's time for another special tool. This goes in like this, next to the camshaft chain tensioner. It screws in there, and this end will put pressure on the tensioning mechanism right here. It will press it down. That way, as we go to remove these camshafts, this is not under pressure. Yep, installs pretty easy. And this is the same for the 2.8 liters as well. Oh, and as always, if you see any tools or products used in this video that pique your interest, I'll put links to them down below in the description box, so don't be afraid to click on them and check them out yourself. And we're gonna use a 5mm hex bit socket to run this down. Now this is gonna bottom out after about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So make sure you stop once it bottoms out. Just don't keep on trying to twist this. All right, next we'll remove the connector for our chain tensioner. Get all the wiring out of the way, and we're going to start undoing these bolts for our camshaft caps, working from the outside end. So we go here first, then we come out to this end, we work our way to the middle. Now that's the safest way to go whenever you removing stuff that might be under tension. But luckily on this driver's side, none of these cam lobes are pressing down on our lifters, therefore there's no spring pressure from our valves against these camshafts. But still, it's good practice to work from the outside going towards the center. And all those bolts holding those camshaft caps in, use a T30 Torx socket. And what you want to do is to loosen these by hand first, and then you can use an impact gun to remove them. Now before you remove these camshaft caps, make sure you have a place that's clean and ready, and you put these in order. This cap at the end might need some gentle persuading, but it'll come loose. Now if you misplace them and forget where everything goes, it's fairly easy to figure out where they go. The ones for the intake side are different than the ones for the exhaust side. Plus they're all kind of numbered, and you can figure out where they go. All right, now we're going to remove the camshafts and the camshaft chain tensioner, all of that as one piece, and get it out of the cylinder head. But before you do that, it's a good idea to clean these up with some brake clean and then mark them, so that just in case they move when you remove them, you can put them back exactly in the right spot. Also, if you're wondering, there are timing marks on these camshafts. I think it's these notches right here. And then the way you would set these up, if you were doing this from zero and you had no marks from before, you would count the links on these chains. I think it's 15 or 16, I don't remember exactly, but that's how you would do it. But this way, if you mark these, this is a lot easier. There's one more cap we need to remove. And this should go according to plan. Yep. All right, so here's a close look at our cylinder head without our camshafts. Here's a look at our camshaft chain tensioner gasket. This goes on there like this. And there's our half moon seal. This is a rubber seal, and usually there's some RTV at the end of it where it's uneven, but there isn't any on this one. However, there's some RTV up top, but there's a bunch of RTV underneath it that we need to clean now. And the camshaft cap I was telling you about goes right here on the exhaust cam at the end of it, goes in like that. And here's a look at our camshaft chain tensioner up close and personal. As you can see, our special tool actually screws in to the tensioner itself and presses down on the hydraulic end so it's not pressing up against this chain when we go to remove it. And when you put this down, these things are going to move. They're not going to be out of place, because as you can see, if I turn it, the marks will line up, but they'll move. So it's a good idea, just for a less stressful reinstallation, I guess, to mark these. And here's a look at the front of it. All right, now it's time for the cleanup. Now minus this area where they have the RTV, it doesn't look to be that bad. Rest of this should come off fairly easily. Just make sure you cover your engine so you don't get any of these dried up RTV silicone inside your engine. Yeah, just make sure you get all the gunk and push them out and not in towards the engine side. And you will also need to clean underneath this end cap that goes at the back of this side, and also inspect underneath your camshaft chain tensioner itself. And if RTV was used, you will need to clean that off as well. All right, so we're all done with cleaning this side. Now it's time to put things back together. But we're also out of daylight as well, so I'm gonna wrap this video up, and this video will be the removal of your camshaft and your camshaft chain tensioner. And I think you guys have figured out that this is pretty much the same for the passenger side. And then the next video will be putting it all back together, and hopefully we can do the timing belts and all of those at the same time as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, do me a huge favor and also check out my other related videos, of which I put links to on this side of the screen. There will also be links down below in the description box as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.